Congratulations to you too.
Senator.
Welcome.
We don't know each other very well. Hi.
Senator.
Is it Senator Sanchez?
Hello.
Thank you for coming. Today is Tuesday, July 16th at 6 p.m., and the meeting of the Salem-Keizer School Board is called to order. For the record, all board members are present. I'd like to extend a special welcome to our newest board members, Director Bethel. Would you stand and wave, please? And Director Chandra Gary, please stand and wave. We'll be officially swearing them in a little later in this meeting. You're welcome.
And also Marty Hyatt.
Is she sworn back in?
She's sworn back in.
Oh, I'm sorry, it isn't on my list. Marty, you'll be sworn back in then, I guess. Well, congratulations. Let's see, would everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Originally, we had no agenda modifications, but we do have one that was added late, and I'll read it to you. It said the board will also meet in executive session at the end of the meeting under the following Oregon revised statute. It's under ORS 192.660(2)E, to conduct deliberations with persons designated by the governing body to negotiate real property transactions. Now we have spotlights to success. Superintendent?
Welcome, everyone. Happy July. Our first spotlight will be presented by Michael Wolf, our Chief Operations Officer.
Good evening, Chair, Superintendent Perry, and members of the board. I'd like to have Dave Hughes and Oscar Morris come forward.
Pastor Morris. Yeah. He's ready.
So our community partner of the month for July 2019 is Salem First Church of the Nazarene, located in the North Salem High School neighborhood. The church, I don't know that this is working, so I'll speak louder. The church was nominated by David Hughes, our Director of Custodial and Auxiliary Services. As part of the 2018 bond measure, our community is investing almost $70 million into the North Salem High School project. Highlights of the work at North include an additional general and special education classrooms to relieve overcrowding and to prepare for future enrollment growth, expanded CTE programs, new main and auxiliary gymnasiums, improved safety and security, and additional parking for students. While the end result is going to be spectacular, getting there is not necessarily going to feel that way. Even though much is being done to minimize disruption caused by construction, a project of this size and scope will cause some disruption to the school environment and also to the neighborhood. Work began at North in April while school was still in session. Our contractor, Pence Construction, started demolition of a portion of the parking lot where students and staff park behind the school. That area will become a satellite commons, kitchen, and expanded CTE space. When construction is finished, North will have more parking than it has now. But in the meantime, North was faced with a problem. Will school open during construction? How could the school address the safety concerns that come from combining student and construction traffic in the cramped school parking lot and address the reduced amount of available parking during construction? It's times like these when it's very clear how important it is to have community partners. The school and district property services staff approached Pastor Jerry Morris, or Pastor Jerry as he's known to everyone at the Salem First Church of the Nazarene, and described the problem. The church was super supportive of the district's recruiting efforts in several years, allowing us to park our banner buses at their site to help recruit bus drivers and custodians. Pastor Jerry, with support of the church board, offered students use of the church's overflow parking area for the duration of the construction, which is expected to be completed in the fall of 2020. The parking area offers plenty of space for students and is a safe distance from the construction area and less than half a mile away from the school. We're so grateful to Pastor Jerry and the Salem First Church of the Nazarene for welcoming our North students to safely park in the church parking lot while construction takes place at the school. When we contacted Pastor Jerry to let him know about our nominating the church as our community partner of the month, at first he was hesitant because he didn't want any special recognition. Well, too bad. But when we mentioned David Hughes had nominated him, he actually seemed very delighted and humbly agreed to letting us spotlight the church for the services that they're providing. So thank you, Salem First Church of the Nazarene, for being such a good partner to the neighborhood, to the school, and to the district. We appreciate you very much.
We'll move on at this point to Section 3 on your agenda, public comment. Okay. First person to speak this evening is Tony Martinez. Tony, are you here? Would you come up to the podium, please? Welcome.
All right, hello. My name is Tony Martinez. I am 16 years old and a student at North Salem High School. At the age of 12, I was put what I call Salem pipeline to prison, also known as Barbara Roberts, where I spent 3 years behind in math, science, reading, and writing. Every day, I went to school with my peers and was taught by teachers who had no hope in our future. I soon realized we are living a self-fulfilling prophecy written by educators, counselors, behavior specialists, and school resource officers. The lack of hope to see our potential, the lack of hope understanding our identities, the lack of hope, the lack of compassion to understand our trauma leads us all to not to believe in ourselves. When children attend schools that place a greater value on discipline and security than on knowledge and intellectual development, they are attending prep schools for prison, Angela Davis quoted. So listen to my story. I represent the so-called bad kids or so-called criminals. None of my people are criminals, or the people who come see economic refuge. You are the real criminals if you don't if you don't serve the youth who are most affected. So that's it.
So Tony, it sounds like you've gone over the hump, and we appreciate it. I'm glad that you're on the right track.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
So change it.
Vincente Olivas.
Do I fix this? Good afternoon. My name is Vicente Olivas. I'm attending North Salem High School at this moment. I'm here to talk about the lack of representation on the behalf of the school board to myself and my community. I am a victim of the school-to-prison pipeline. On the behalf of the school board to myself and my community, oh yeah, I already heard that. I'm a victim of the school district lacks the commitment that it's student of color diverse. We spend more than half of our days with teachers that are not trained to be culturally sensitive to terminals or something like that. And mental health issues are being permitted and not addressed by our school and representative. By allowing local law enforcement and the threat of ICE to enter schools, you do not care about the threat of ICE, the well-being, and our families. Your silence issues like Measure 105 and 106 that put our communities at risk. Your silence is violence.
Thank you, Vincente. Next on the agenda is Danielle Sharia, Dayton. Thank you for coming, Daniel.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavaria Gaitan, and I'm here to talk about how I feel about ICE being here. With ICE being in my area, I live with the fear that I might come home one day and my family won't be there and my friends are gone. I shouldn't have to live with that fear, and I shouldn't have to worry about it because Oregon is a sanctuary state and I should feel safe, but I don't. I've heard that a lot of people on the school board have conservative views, and that just makes me mad, and it makes me fear even more for my own safety and the safety of my friends. I always thought that the school board was there to help, but I guess not. I had always heard good things about the school board, but now things are different. Nowadays, it's hard to tell who's there to help and who's there to cause you harm, because nowadays youth can be so easily brainwashed, and it's just sad to see that happen. They get so easily manipulated to believe things that are wrong are actually good for you, and most of the time, that's not the case.
Thank you. And we're all sorry that you have to cope with that. Okay, next, Alondra Sanchez, please.
Hello, my name is Alondra Sanchez. I am in middle school. I am here to congratulate the new board members and also to meet all other members. I would also like to talk about something that I really care about. I feel that our district has not tried hard enough to make our schools safe and inclusive for all students, especially students of color and students who identify as lesbian, gay, transgender, bisexual, and or queer. I would like to see more inclusive sexual health education that includes teachings for LGBTQA students and that recognizes the reproductive rights of women of color. We are the ones most affected by the attacks on reproductive rights. How will you ensure we are protected in our schools?
Thank you. Natalia?
Hello, my name is Natalia Castillo. I am a high school student. For me, accessing healthcare is very important. Many of my peers lack appropriate healthcare. We need more nurses in our schools. We need better access to healthcare. We cannot learn if we aren't healthy. I would also like to see our school be more inclusive in our reproductive needs. What if I or one of my peers have a reproductive emergency and we don't feel safe to talk about it at home? How will my school be a safe space for me? I am a student. I identify as a female. I am a person of color. I am of low income. And I want my school board to know that these are not separated identities but make me into who I am. How will you ensure that students like me access the healthcare they need in our schools? Also, you all need to understand that toxic stress immigrant people are facing today because of Trump. Many of your students are experiencing stress that is affecting their mental health. Mental health of immigrant students need to be a priority.
Thank you very much. Next, Alex Sosa Navarro.
Hello, my name is Alex. I am 15 years old. I just graduated middle school. I will be going to high school in the fall. I'm here today because I want to acknowledge and recognize the new school board members, but also I'm here to make my immigrant community be heard because our worries and issues remain the same and have not really been addressed. I'm here today because I care about my peers and their safety and their privacy and rights while attending Salem-Keizer public schools, as you should too. A few months ago, the school board decided not to endorse voting no on Measure 105, putting the students and their families at risk. I am here to say that was a slap to the face to me and my community. I was disappointed in the school board because kids deserve to feel secure in and out of schools. Why? Because Their constant fear of affect their mental health as well as how they see things. The school board mentioned something about not getting into politics, as if students aren't affected by toxic immigrant policies and in their and out of their homes. I'm here to remind you how harmful being silent towards injustice is and how it affects more damage than good. I hope the newly elected members take my voice and my community concerns seriously for the time being in the office.
Thank you, Ella. And next on the agenda is Fabio Cruz.
My name is Fabiola, and I graduated from McKay High School in 2018, and I'm going to attend my second year at Chemeketa Community College this fall. I'm here today for my peers who are still attending Salem-Keizer Public Schools. I truly hope change comes through the school board because it has been the same system without change despite our struggles and fight for representation. You guys want to hold your image rather than help the students that are enduring fear and pain. The time to be performative is through, and the time to be passive toward witnessing injustices is through. You guys get mad when we decide to march, to sit in, to speak up for ourselves and others, but when we die, you guys become silent. And when approached about the topic, all you seem to say is that's sad and I'm sorry, as if your sorry really does or means something. And what you guys really need to understand is the fact that when we seek help at school, you guys actually need to try and be there for us and act upon something rather than try to hold your image as professionals the entire time.
Thank you. Next would be Raul Perez, please.
I'm gonna be saying mine in Spanish. Hola, mi nombre es Raúl y yo tengo 14 años y ahorita en el verano he estado trabajando con mi papá. He estado escuchando muchas cosas, como que ICE está aquí en Salem. Aunque no lo crean, a veces no puedo dormir en la noche, sabiendo que el día de mañana pudiera despertar y no estuviera ahí mi familia. O también porque ICE puede venir al trabajo de mi papá y nos puede llevar a mí y mi papá, que no Oregon era un lugar para todos. Thank you.
Ralph. Dulce Hernandez.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
My name is Raul and I am 14 years old. In the summer, I am working with my father, and I have been hearing that there are raids from ICE in Salem. Believe it or not, it is hard for me to sleep knowing that tomorrow I may not wake up with my family, and that ICE can come to my parents' job and take my dad, and that Oregon is not a safe place for everyone.
Thank you. Dulce Hernandez.
My name is Dulce Hernandez, and I'm a student at Chemeketa Community College. I attended McKay High School and graduated in 2018. I'm concerned about the lack of mental health education and awareness in schools. Throughout my high school years, I was diagnosed with depression and anxiety for my junior and senior year, and I struggled going to school and graduating. Although I graduated, I felt that I didn't have enough support from my counselors and teachers. What they did was support me simply academically, for example, bettering my grades through acts of homework and exams and tests. However, they failed to realize how much mental health affects academic goals. I know that there are many other students who are going through very similar situations, who are assisting schools and fail to graduate or drop out at an early age because of the issues and stress that we go through, issues that many low-income and working-class families go through. An example can be the ICE situation that is taking place right now. ICE is targeting a lot of immigrants, and this is causing fear in many children. that come from immigrant families, members who live in these children are living in constant fear and paranoia, and this can cost them a lot of mental health issues while assisting schools. I'm here to remind you that mental health is a very important issue for schools in the Salem-Keizer district to address, with better trained, experienced counselors that can better the community, because not only does it affect academic goals, but it also affects long-term lifetime experiences.
Thank you, Dulce. Louis Acosta, please.
My name is Luis, and I am a graduate of McNary High School. And throughout my educational background, people in positions of power remain silent about students of color and the pressures that they go through within their everyday lives. It seems to me that the school district doesn't understand them. Their teachers understand them, and I fear that the school board won't understand them either. So to you all, I ask the following questions. What role are you going to play in supporting and representing students of color who are of lower income communities? What role are you going to play when their access to reproductive rights becomes controversial in the very schools that they attend? What role are you going to play when ICE agents are roaming their city and their state and they don't feel comfortable? And lastly, what role are you going to play to combat the toxic stress that immigrant students feel in their everyday lives? These and all the other questions I asked really affect students who are in this very same school district. So I want to ask again, how are you going to make them comfortable throughout their time in their public school? Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you, parents, for bringing your kids to tell us how they feel. And we aren't hard and solid. We feel that way too often. And we're just so sorry you're going through that. We aren't entirely in charge of that, but we do understand. Thank you.
Could I just make one comment to Chair Goss? I do want to make a comment to the board that we have, because of the recent news around immigration, we have sent out to all our summer schools, because we have a number of kids in summer school right now, probably over 1,000, our position on non-local law enforcement, and to be sure that our supervisors at those sites know about our procedures, which is we don't cooperate with non-local law enforcement.
Thank you, Superintendent. We're moving on. We have some things to read out there, huh? Thank you. That is all the public comment for this evening. Okay. We're moving on to the action items. First one in Part 4 is A, and that is swear in the new board members.
I get to do that, and I'm going to call you up one at a time, and I'm going to start with Director Hyan. Oregon law requires that a director of a school district board must qualify by taking an oath of office before assuming the duties of the office. And even though Director Hyan has been a school board member, there was an incident on July 1, 2019 at 12:01 where she was not qualified because she hadn't been resworn yet. Now, it's my privilege to do that. So repeat after me. I, in your name.
I, Marty Hyan.
Having been duly elected as a director of the Salem-Keizer School District Board.
Having been duly elected as a member of the Salem-Keizer School District Board.
Do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear.
That I will faithfully and truly.
That I will faithfully and truly.
Exercise my duties as a school board director.
Exercise my duties as a school board director.
For the Salem-Keizer School District 24J.
For the Salem-Keizer School District 24J.
Consistent with school board policy and state and federal law.
Consistent with school board policy, state, and federal law.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Director Dr. Chandra Giri. You probably got a preview of what we're going to do. So just please repeat after me. Start with your name.
I, Satya Chandragiri,
Having been duly elected as a director of the Salem-Keizer School Board,
having been duly elected as the director of the Salem-Keizer School Board,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully and truly
that I will faithfully and truly
exercise my duties as a school board director
exercise my duties as Salem-Keizer School Board Director
for the Salem-Keizer School District 24J,
for the Salem-Keizer School District 24J,
consistent with school board policy
consistent with school board policy,
and state and federal law.
state and federal law.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Just say your name.
I, Danielle Bethel,
Having been duly elected as a director of the Salem-Keizer School District Board,
having been duly elected
as a director
as a director of the Salem-Keizer School District Board,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully and truly
that I will faithfully and truly
exercise my duties
exercise my duties
as a school board director
as a school board director
for the Salem-Keizer School District 24J,
for the Salem-Keizer School District 24J,
consistent with school board policy
consistent with school board policy
and state and federal law.
and state and federal law.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
The next item on our agenda is to elect new board leadership. And I will share with you that the entire year that I have been board chair, Alice, who helps me with my agenda and things, has said, you know, you can do anything you want to with that since you are the board chair. Well, it finally occurred to me as I looked at this, and I thought I have a few things to say before I go. And I spent the last year working hard to make a big tent for the district that will encompass all our various and different people. I think it's so important. And I think it's so important that parents feel welcome. They have problems, they feel welcome. Very hard to hear your children like it was tonight because we don't have the ability to jump up and say we can change that. We understand you're hurt, but it's very difficult to help. I want to especially thank several people that are here this evening. Our man of all things legal, Paul Dacopoulos, is to my right. And Paul is our legal advice in all things, from human relations all the way to purchasing real estate and easement agreements and sale agreements. He is really a great asset for our district. The second one I want to thank is Alice. Alice, would you raise your hand so they know who you are? Alice, I like to think of Alice as the circus master. So Alice keeps 3 rings going all the time. So we all have what we need to do our dance, and we perform, and Alice directs that. And you have no idea how fortunate you are to have someone as well organized as Alice here to do it.
That's a true thing.
And the next person I want to especially thank is Lillian Govis, and she is our communications person. And she is not here this evening, but as you drive around town, and there'll be more coming out this fall, you'll see signs that say 24J every day. And that's to remind parents and kids how important it is to get to school. You can't learn if you don't get here. And so Lillian came up with that. And believe it or not, it has increased our graduation rate and our attendance rate. And that's one fine thing that happened this last year. And then there is my partner in crime, Sharon Blasi there. And Sharon and I are politically as far apart as any two human beings could be. There is just no question. But I so much enjoyed her because it made our tent bigger. I think it's so important that we have two opinions, two ways of looking at things. That's how you get really thorough, profitable, usable discussions. And we've had a wonderful year. I think we've done that. We're still both on our feet and doing well. And then last but most important, the one leader who always brings us back to the kids in the classroom, and that's our Superintendent, Christy Perry. Yes. And the cabinet, I don't know if you're familiar with how this is set up, but the superintendent's cabinet sits over there in those first two rows. And they often come up and speak to us and fill us in on what's going on. We have a wonderful, wonderful group of people, and they help us considerably, and they help you a great deal. In any event, that's really all I have to say. But thank you again. It's been a wonderful year, and I think we got a lot accomplished. I'm very proud of it. Now, man of all laws, you're up next.
This is the time set for the nomination of a new chairperson.
I said one thing, just really quick. Promise.
Yeah, Director Lippold wants to say one thing really quick.
I just want to say thank you both to Kathy and Sharon for your leadership this year. I mean, we've gone through a lot. I mean, the implementation of the school bond, the boundary changes, and your guys' leadership has been instrumental in that. I mean, Sharon, with your advocacy on policy and your fighting for the school funding, I mean, that was huge for us. And then Kathy, I mean, your relationship with the business community and always making sure that we're hearing parents and hearing people out. I think both of those are really good things, and just want to say thank you.
Thank you. And I just remembered, before I spoke, I was to inform you that I will not be running this time. So I didn't want you to think that I was just patting all these people on the back so I could get more votes. That wasn't it. I'm not going to run this time, so you have it wide open.
So the procedure that we use tonight is to start with nominations from the board. If there's only one nomination and no more, then you'll simply do a voice vote. And if there are more than one nominations, there'll be a paper ballot vote, and you'll sign your ballot, submit them to me, and I'll read them on for the board.
Director Kylo,
I wanted to make a nomination when he's done.
are you done?
I'm done.
I nominate Marty Hyan for board chair.
Do I hear any other nominations? Oh, I'm sorry, I'm taking over your job.
No, you go ahead. You're doing great.
No, don't miss it.
Seeing none? We'll vote. We don't need paper, do we? in
No,
this
no,
case?
if there's no.
Not for just one? Okay.
Just a voice
All
vote.
those in favor of electing Marty Hyan for board chair signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those saying nay? Seems to pass unanimously. Congratulations, Marty.
This is where there's a change of seating.
Oh, yes.
Stay here.
Well, if you're the board chair now, you can sit where you want.
You have to have.
You have to sit with the hammer.
Wow, I like my drawer.
We'll
Let's
switch it.
have-
Oh, you can switch it.
Don't let the power get to your head, Marty.
Got it.
Everyone has to make sure they have their breath mints and their phone before they switch seats.
thing, water.
Can't forget that.
Do you want me to go ahead, or do you want to go?
I just want to say one thing real quick, and then I'll let you do the second step. I wanted to echo Director Lippold in his thanks for Kathy and Sharon and the work they've done. I have no idea how hard that work is, but I know I'm going to find out really soon, and I really appreciate both of you.
So we move on to the same process for the vice chairperson. Opening the nominations for, you have two hands.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Madam Chair, I would like to nominate Director Jesse Leopold for the vice chair. Thank you.
Any other nominations? Seeing none, we'll do a verbal vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none.
Oh, I forgot to
Welcome
vote.
to the leadership, Dr. Lippold.
Do I have to have seats too?
Yeah.
I like my chair low.
Uh-oh.
Would you like to change chairs, Kathy?
Oh, Kathy, I'll switch you. Yeah.
All right, so I've never seen this book before. So tonight's my learning in public. So we start with action items. We're going to have a proclamation regarding our summer meals week. Do we have a director who would like to read the proclamation? Paul?
Sure. Whereas when school is out for the summer, children who rely on eating meals at school may not otherwise have access to the nutrition they need to be healthy and active. And whereas Salem-Keizer Public Schools is committed to providing engaging activities and healthy meals with students during the healthy meals for students during the summer months, as well as during the school year, whereas Salem-Keizer Public Schools is committed to reducing hunger in our community, preparing approximately 34,000 meals per day during the school year, and whereas Salem-Keizer Public Schools serve in our community approximately 5,000 meals a day at 11 permanent summer meal sites, in addition to approximately 50 locations at various times throughout the summer when summer programs such as summer camp, summer library, summer school, and summer clubs are in session. And whereas by increasing awareness about summer meals programs in our area, more children may be able to access meals during the summer. And whereas summer meals programs can help children stay healthy and be prepared to return to school, ready to learn and grow. Now therefore, the Board of Directors of Salem-Keizer Public Schools proclaims July 15th to 19th, 2019 to be Summer Meals Week in support of our students and community. So moved.
Director Kylo, would you like to make a motion?
I move that we accept the Summer Meals Week proclamation.
Is there a second? Thank you, Director Lippold. Any discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstain? Moving on then to, whoops. All right. So where is this on our agenda? I'm used to only looking at this. Okay, so the next item is the Healthy and Safe Schools Plan. And Superintendent Perry, you're going to provide a summary?
All right, I'm going to turn this over to Chief Operations Officer Mike Wolf to present just a few facts about the Healthy and Safe Schools Plan, and it does require your approval.
Okay, thank you. So in 2017, the legislature passed Senate Bill 1062, which requires that every school district develop a Healthy and Safe Schools, or HAS plan, and that it be approved by the school board on July 15th, 2019. Because we had been waiting for ODE approval on our plan, we had submitted the updated plan in April and hadn't heard back, and because of the change in the board meeting this month, from July 9th to the 16th, our timing is off by 1 day. However, we did notify board leadership of the delay in June. And so I won't go over all of the details on the board plate, but just know that the HAS plan contains quite a few requirements, everything from integrated pest management to asbestos, hazardous emergency response, lead testing in our water, our drinking water. We also went an added step and tested for copper as well. So we did both lead and copper. Addressing hazards associated with lead paint, radon, carbon monoxide detectors, and posting all of the results on our website, which they're available. And so the next section just really talks about some of the specific responsibilities. And just so you know, we have been working on some of these requirements long before the passage of the Senate bill. For instance, we had started testing for radon in our school buildings in 2000. So we were kind of ahead of the curve on some of those. And we've had an integrated pest management plan since 2012. We also apply these standards not only to schools, but to all of our buildings. So this is really our healthy and safe school and building plan for the district. And so all of our test results, as I mentioned, are on our website. And staff recommends that the board approve the Salem-Keizer Public Schools Health and Safety and Building Schools Plan.
Is there a motion to approve the plan? Director Kylo?
I would move that we accept the plan, and Director Bethel will second it.
Yes, I will.
Thank you, Director Bethel. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we'll take a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstain? All right, to the next tab. The next action item is to appoint legal counsel for 2019-2020.
So I'll jump in here, but one of your board policies, board governance 10.2, requires that you name an attorney for the district to provide professional legal counsel. What you have in your information is the contract and the current rates. There is no change to the current rates from the last year. And once we get through the action item, I believe Paul Dicopoulos would like to make a couple comments. So
Is there a motion to reappoint Paul Dicopoulos and the law firm Garrett Herman Robertson PC as a legal counsel to the school board and district?
So moved.
We have a tie. Thank you, Director. I'm going to work on your last name, Changagiri.
Thank you.
Is there a second? Second from Director Lacey. Is there any discussion?
Yeah, I'll say
Director
something.
Blasey.
Oh, you go.
So just real quick, as Kathy alluded to in the last year, getting to work closely with Paul Dicopoulos and his team, we truly appreciate the work that you do. You bring a wealth of knowledge, history, and I always find you to be, very informative, informational, providing us with various options of things to consider. And I think you just bring very sage advice to this board and to the district as a whole. So I'm very supportive of this, but thank you for your work.
Thank you.
Director Leopold?
Oh, yeah, I just wanted to say thank you to Paul. I mean, because the amount of work that they do behind the scenes that a lot of people don't get to see, they do a lot. And, and so it's great to have someone with the knowledge and the relationship with our district that you guys have had for so long. And just want to say that we're thankful for you.
Any other comments before I make mine? Seeing none, I just want to say, Paul, that I do really appreciate you, and I appreciate your knowledge. And that only comes when somebody's been around for a long time and really understands how we work. And I really appreciate your support. Is there anything you wanted to add before we vote?
I'm happy to right now. This is a great honor to represent this school district, the second largest school district in the state, a $1 billion organization that's highly complex. And there's no way that one person can do it, of course. And I just wanted to highlight some of the members of my team that make me look good every single day. And I'm just going to ask some of the lawyers that work for this school district to stand up. Don't be afraid. Stand up now, please. And while they're standing, this is not all. But if you think of a school district as a complex $1 billion organization with almost 42,000 kids and almost 5,000 employees, we need a lot of expertise. And so we do the human resources and labor relations work. I'm your general counsel and do work with the board and the superintendent. All of the students have issues, and their parents do from time to time, and our goal is to solve those and make them smaller, not bigger. We have over 6,000 special education kids, and it's just great to have Kelly Noor and Elizabeth Pole. And I do some of that work as well, but they're experts. Real estate work, business work. Mike Keene is in the red tie back there with his associate Kevin Gleam in the front row. There's a lot of business issues that we deal with very successfully. Risk management, we do a lot of that. We're self-insured, and so we are essentially our own insurance company for the purposes of risk. And you've met both Luke Reese and Kim Hoyt over the years, and they have a team, Brianna Thompson and Elizabeth Muse, that are in the back row, and they're invaluable to our work. Hank Stebbins is in the front row with Luke, and he does a lot of human resources work with me. We do public contracting. Ryan Hunt is not here tonight, nor is Kevin Shuba. You've all met Kevin Shuba. And Ryan Hunt does a lot of public contracting work and building issue work, construction services work. So it takes as I say, it takes a village, and I've got a good one. I often say to these younger lawyers that if I was competing for a job with the younger lawyers today, I would not be the first pick. Because there are some really smart people. So I thank my team for coming tonight, and thank you for giving me a little time.
Any more comments by board members? No? Okay, we'll go ahead and call for a vote. All of those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Abstain? Next, we have the consent calendar. Is there a motion to accept the consent calendar, or is there anybody that would like to pull anything from the consent calendar? Director Kylo?
I move acceptance of the consent calendar.
Do we have a second?
We can't hear Paul down here.
I move acceptance of the consent calendar.
I second.
We have a second, okay. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, I'll vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Not, okay. Passes unanimously. There are no readings tonight. And we're going right to executive limitation number 2. Is that correct?
We should be on
Number 1.
number 1, just page
Yeah.
1 page.
There we go. All right. Okay, so tonight we have our executive limitation. We have our first EL report of the year. Superintendent Perry.
All right, so welcome new board members, and jump in if you have questions along the way here. This is executive limitation number 1 report, global executive constraint, and it's the first of 12 monitoring reports. I'm actually doing 2 tonight because I think the superintendent succession one should be done in the first meeting in July. So basically this executive limitation says that I shall not fail to set expectations around acceptable business and professional ethics, fail to establish and maintain policies and procedures to ensure organizational compliance, fail to implement a reasonable process to address employee actions. And I'm going to highlight for the board, since these, most people have seen these, but a couple things that I think we've kind of shifted in the past year. So at the bottom of the first page, I just wanted to point out that we have been refocusing our efforts on preventing and responding to sex abuse of minors. At this time, over 1,700 district staff have completed a training called Darkness to Light, Stewards of Children training. The training to date has included all administrators and has also been offered to parents, guardians, and community members. And our goal over the next 2 years will be to continue to work towards a goal of the majority of our district staff trained within 3 years. And we will continue to offer this training to parents and community members. So one of our really important focuses is on that, keeping that at the forefront. And then the second item is on the top of the next page, and that is around our suicide prevention, and we are committed to training staff on suicide prevention. The training we're using right now is question, respond, and persuade, or QPR training, and to date, all elementary and secondary counselors have been trained, and we have a number of staff members across the district trained as facilitators. And our goal is that all secondary staff will be trained by the end of 1920, and then all elementary staff by 2021. We're also providing this training to our food service employees, Sodexo employees, and our transportation staff. So that's one of our really important commitments that I think is really important to put in this EL. I also just wanted to point out in number 3 that we do have some reporting requirements when we have ethical violations, and so we do make our reports to TSPC. While technically I don't, I have the legal authority to make those reports. It's a delegated responsibility to the director of HR, but I still maintain oversight over that, even though it falls under John Bates' department. And then we continue to meet regularly with both of our licensed and classified staff to work on employment matters. So with that, I'll open it up to any additional questions.
Madam Chair, I just want to thank Superintendent Perry for taking this initiative to address one of the very important topics on children's safety, suicide prevention. Thank you, Superintendent Perry. And we heard from the children so succinctly and so clearly. It touched my heart. And I do acknowledge the pain and suffering the parents are going through because of mental health challenges, the extreme fear, and serious difficulty which really comes in the way of education, graduation, or all kinds of difficulty. They spoke very well. They spoke succinctly. They captured the essence of what is the big problem underneath a lot of difficulties, including children not showing up to class, children school to prison pipeline. I would like to formally ask, Madam Chair, that you direct that a work session devoted to this topic and ensure that we make this as part of our records today. This is a very urgent and important topic in my mind as a psychiatrist and a parent, and having listened to children, that we dedicate this work session to teen suicide prevention and Salem-Keizer School District's current state of planning, preparation, response, and eventually leading to a development and implementation of district-wide school student suicide prevention policy and protocol that can be implemented district-wide so that there is consistency and nobody falls between the crack. I would like to quickly use this as an analogy like a Swiss cheese. God forbid, we don't want all those holes lining up. So we want to have an umbrella policy and a protocol. And the children said it so beautifully. We as board of directors report to those children and families. And it's really important that they set the stage and they gave us the direction. I do not want any child living through fear when they come to school. So I want to request this officially in the first board meeting so that it sets the stage. It's an urgent matter before children come back.
Thank you, I agree. Director Bethel, did you have some comments?
Not other than I support Director Chandragiri, spending the last several months with him and getting to know several members of our community and knowing some of them that experienced loss last year. I believe that we really need to take action as a community, and I think that our board and our district can be great leaders in that effort.
Any other comments? Okay. Next one.
All right, so next item is executive limitation number 2, emergency superintendent succession. And this report is similar as in years past, and I just want to remind current board that we do actually have a team of people that can and do run the district in my absence. So for planned absences, we actually have a team which includes our 2 assistant superintendents, Linda Myers and Craig Sproles, our chief operations officer, Michael Wolf, and our HR director, John Bate, and then our communications director, Lillian Govis. And so in a planned absence, that team comes together to run the district and actually do it really effectively in my absence. In the event of some emergency succession planning, you will have some options out of a team of people. And what I would just encourage you to do is to be sure that you're looking at our policy HUM A013 when you make that decision, and that you choose an interim to run the district in an emergency that best fits the time of year for what you need. And I think you'll know that. Is it budget season? Is it, are we up, coming up on some curriculum work? But I think you'll know what that is. And I'll work with board leadership to help them understand the questions they should ask. So should always be preparing for my absence.
We don't want to do that.
No, we don't, but that's good insurance when you prepare.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments by any directors? No?
Madam Chair, do we need to adopt this as a motion and so that?
No.
Okay, thank you.
We used to do a thumbs up, thumbs down a long time ago as to whether or not we accepted the report. We got rid of that about a year and a half ago. So it's just for our information. The next is information. Our schedule of meetings is in your board packet. The next board meeting will be the board summer work session. Did I miss a page? Okay. The board summer work session beginning at noon on Tuesday, August 13th. Should we eat lunch before we show?
Yeah, we'll work on getting some sort of snack, and we'll get the food arrangements and we'll get it out to you.
Okay.
Likely it'll be lunch and slight dinner, small dinner.
All right. The meeting will likely run until 8 p.m., so, with a potential business meeting beginning at 6 p.m. The agenda will be posted on Friday prior to the board meeting. And the next is public comment on non-agenda topics. And I would like to ask that you stay within your 3 minutes, give your name and your city. We don't need your street address. And again, out of respect for everybody that's here, stay within your 3 minutes. We have one person signed up, Mindy Merritt.
Hello. Thank you. Good evening. My name is Mindy Merritt, and I reside in Salem, Oregon. I'm here speaking to you as the president of Salem-Keizer Education Association. Tonight, I am joining the students and community members representing to you, our elected school board, how much we value and will continue to push for and demand for the work that is necessary for all students to succeed. As a district in 2018 and 19 school year, we served over 42,000 students. Of those students, 52% were students of color. 40% were Latinx. It is important to acknowledge, through the understanding and awareness of the school-to-prison pipeline, as a district, a community, a school board, and our associations, to ensure that all students within Salem-Keizer School District can have the right for every student to receive a quality and engaging public education, one that provides an equitable opportunity where all students can succeed. We have students and families and staff who experience trauma on a daily basis. The current political climate adds to that trauma. And I want to thank you, as you shared, Superintendent Perry, that even within our migrant summer program, you've sent home a message to all of the families, and I appreciate that. I appreciate Mr. Dicopoulos and the work that you've done with the district to ensure that our schools are safe and that we have that line, and it has helped. I've helped to work with our community groups to make sure that they're aware that it's a safe place. But it's scary. It's really scary. Fear is what feeds our community right now, especially for our families who are undocumented. And that fear lingers over like a heavy, dark cloud, especially to our 40% of our Latinx community who are coming to school every day. And we see that, and it impacts those students. 40% of 42,000. That's a lot. For you as a school board, that is a great responsibility that you bear. And that is what I'm here to share. As the students shared, as the community is here sharing, and we're just calling upon you to say, we're going to be showing up as associations and community and students saying, we care, we're fighting for public education, and we're counting on you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mindy. Now it's time for board activity reports. We'll start with Director Changagiri and then move this way. Do you have anything you would like to share that you've done related to school activities?
Thank you, Madam. I just want to say thank you very much. I think this has been a beautiful journey. And, leading up to this election and coming here, it's also been a very humbling journey. I got to listen to the true suffering of families. I reached out to several families, several migrant families, several persons of color, diverse communities. I actually had to go into people's home to listen to the true story of their suffering. The places of worship where I could listen to their actual stories and what difficulties they go through. I sensed the pain. It's far more than what the children shared briefly. I've listened to teachers and their struggles. So I think we are going to have a beautiful school system. The kids are wonderful, but they're going through a lot of difficulty. And we have been given a huge mandate. And we will continue to work together to not lose sight of that mandate, that all our children's safety, health, and education is the true focus we need to continue to keep as we proceed. And that's the little lesson I learned. After 30 years of working as a psychiatrist, it's almost like 30 years of boot camp. And finally, the children have given me the direction of what to do next. So I really thank Director Gauss and Director Leopold, and all of you to kind of guide me in this. And so thank you very much. And so many people have worked hard, and so many people are involved. Second important thing I want to say, I want to give special respect for our teachers. Without them, there is no school. They are like the priests of the democracy and priests of we take our tender brains to our school system. 12 years later, we expect them to be independent, responsible citizens of our country and generations to come. So without the teachers, we won't be able to achieve anything. So they have played a huge role. I can speak for that because 2 of my kids went through this. And without our teachers, they won't be where they are. So I really want to say thank you to our teachers. And we hear your pain, we hear your thing. Nobody will be forgotten. And I will really make sure that our schools will be a beautiful place. And there is going to be a beautiful place because of our teachers. I want our teachers to feel safe and empowered in this system. Otherwise, it's not going to help our children. We can have any grandiose plan, but that's not going to get translated until we have the teachers. So, and thank you for our educators and the leaders. So we do appreciate, because I'm saying this as a parent and as a physician and a psychiatrist who's seen the value that teachers and the educators in school system bring to our thing. It is the second home for our children. So thank you very much for allowing me to reach this far.
Thank you. Does anybody else have anything to share? I just wanted to share, not something I've done, but I'm looking forward to Summer Strings at South Salem, Thursday night, 7 p.m. Kids from 4th grade through high school throughout the district have been working on their violin, viola, cello, and bass skills. So come and support them. Anything you'd like to share?
I do. I just wanted to say on the record, thank you to Cynthia Richardson. You can shake your head, but just a real brief story. I graduated from McKay High School 22 years ago, and as a student in Northeast Salem, I experienced a fair amount of trauma. And through my experience, I graduated, walked across the stage, which was awesome, but I had to spend 6 weeks in summer school to achieve those 22 credits. I was homeless at the time, and I couldn't afford the fees that it took to be a student. Who knew you had to pay TAL fees and so forth when you're a student in high school, but I didn't have the platform to experience that. So until today, I had never possessed my high school diploma. And during my campaign, it came up. And I can't tell you how awesome it is to see that. And I wish I could show you, but I gave it to my husband and my children, and they have left. But thank you to the district for keeping it safe for all these years. I had no idea it was in a storage somewhere. And I'm happy to pay the $37 because I can afford it today. But that being said, I'm a member of this community, and I understand what it is to struggle and to succeed. And I'm honored to have been asked to take on this position and to be elected to represent people in my community to overcome struggles that may cost $37 or $37 million. So thank you again, Cynthia, for coming forward and making that happen for me.
Anything from you, Paul?
Ooh. Not today.
All right.
I got something.
Is that, oh, Jesse?
Oh, I'm always ready. Alrighty, so I had the honor of putting on my chef hat and judging a middle school cooking competition at put on by South Salem Culinary. Oh, the food was so good. It was amazing. So if any of you guys are having food competitions, I will gladly come judge. Another thing I did, actually Dr. Satya and I, we met with some students from, a school from our sister city, Salem, India. And that was such an amazing conversation. We were just talking about the two different education systems. And those kids are all trilingual by the time they graduate. That's ridiculous. So that was an awesome experience listening to them. And it's been kind of dead besides the graduations and stuff. And I just, it took a lot of time to reflect on us as a board and how we want things moving forward. And so I've been wondering if the community if the community views us as a functioning board. And so I think that'd be something really good for us to reflect on, and would like to, if everyone else is down for it, spend some time in our next work session, maybe just off the agenda, just talking about how we're going to work together and how we can be better ourselves and grow, because I think everybody has room for improvement. So I just think that'd be an awesome thing to do. But anyways, that's all.
Thank you, Director Lippold. And with that, we are adjourned, maybe. Oops, sorry.
I'll just make one quick
I was
announcement,
trying to cut
okay?
you
I know,
off.
wow. So soon, so
I
soon,
know.
Chair
Well,
Hines,
you
so
already
soon.
got to speak twice. You want another one?
I'm just going to make one announcement. We have summer graduation on August 1st at 7 p.m. It's at West Salem High School this year instead of North Salem, since we're under construction. We have room for one board member on the stage, so I'm going to start with our chair to see if she can be there that night, and if not, then I'll ask her to assign somebody to that graduation. But we definitely want one board member on the stage, and then others are welcome. It's fabulous. Most districts actually don't let kids walk after the regular graduations happen. We do this for our students who are in summer school. They put on their cap and gowns from their home school, and their parents get to celebrate them. So if you can make it to summer graduation, these are kids that has been harder to get across the stage for them. So they really deserve our recognition. So, and Alice will send out a calendar invite. You can accept or decline it.
Thank you.
Yep.
So now the board is going to meet in executive session under the following Oregon Revised Statutes, ORS 192.6602D, to conduct deliberations with persons designated to carry on labor negotiations, and ORS 192.6602H, to conduct with counsel concerning the legal rights and duties of a public body with regard to litigation or litigation likely to be filed. Per our agenda modification, the board will also meet in executive session under ORS 192.6602E to conduct deliberations with persons designated by the governing body to negotiate real property transactions. Representatives of the news media are allowed to attend executive sessions except for those sessions held in regard to expulsions. All other audience members are excluded from executive sessions and are asked to leave the room. Representatives of the news media are specifically directed not to report on any of the deliberations during executive sessions except to state the general subject of the session as listed on the agenda. No recording of executive sessions is allowed without express permission from the board. Tonight's meeting will be adjourned immediately following executive session. Thank you for attending tonight. So, if everybody could please leave the room.
Yeah, so how about if we start at about, you want 10 minutes?
That'd be great.
7.